back to the Maile Behind The Scenes podcast. Today I'm here with Miss Shellita.
Hey.
Miss Shellita is one of our instructors here at Maile and a professional actor and stunt woman.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am born and raised in Louisiana, but I've been in Florida for about 27 years, maybe more.
Oh, wow.
I am an actor, stunt performer, personal trainer, et cetera, et cetera. And I love every bit about it. I really love working at the Maile School because I get to go out into the real world, come back and share all my experiences with the students, or as I call them, my peer actors.
Peer. I love that you consider them peers. Yes, I love that. Okay, so why did you want to get into acting?
You know, I think acting got into me. One day I was about to get a serious spanking from my mother, and I went into this mode of, you got to get yourself out of this. Mm-hmm. And, this character came out that started to convince her what she thought I did was wrong. And she laughed. And then I realized, okay, maybe there's something there. No, seriously. I think I've always wanted to be an actor since the age of 7, but I didn't know that it was a job. I was watching television, and I was constantly repeating what was being said on television. And it wasn't until someone said, "Shut up!" that I realized I was doing it, because I kind of zoned out. And from there, I went to high school, started doing speeches, really nervous to do those, but I'd create characters to kind of help me ease my nerve.
Yeah.
And one day my English teacher said, "You should go into television. You really don't have an accent to say you're from Louisiana." And I was like, "Oh, okay." But again, being in Louisiana, I didn't know anything about acting and it being a career. So I went to college for communications and broadcasting.
Ooh.
Put you on television, right?
Okay.
Then started studying that. I was like, no, this is not what I'm feeling. This is not it. And eventually found out, it was a career choice that I could make, and moved to Florida to pursue acting because it was Hollywood East at the time. And then Hollywood East decided to dissolve with all the film incentives and things like that.
Right.
Little did I know, but I was still hitting the ground running and working really hard. And things just kind of took off from there. Wow. My first long professional project was working on the Fantasia Barrino story.
Ooh.
And it was great. And guess what? I went back to Louisiana to work on that.
That's ironic. That's actually so ironic. No, I find it very interesting that a lot of jobs nowadays are kind of filmed on site.
Yeah.
All over the place. You can get cast in LA, but you'll end up in Utah or Hawaii or even Puerto Rico. They did Teen Beach Movie there, and it's just like, okay, you're not where you auditioned, but you're still in a film. So
still in a film.
Super cool. So tell me about your industry jobs. What kind of experiences do you have?
I've done just about everything.
Really?
I started off doing extra work, and then I went into print modeling.
Ooh, okay.
Yes. From print modeling, I started doing commercials. And Florida is a great commercial market.
Yes.
But I wanted to be on television, in films, and then I realized, okay, you need a serious headshot and a resume to do that. So I did that and eventually started auditioning.
Okay.
And I landed a couple of small roles here and there. But my first SAG project was a commercial and a stunt job at the same time.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, so my agent called and said, "Hey, we're sending you to an audition for a commercial, and they also have a stunt role they want audition people for. We're sending you." And I was like, "I'm not a stunt woman," and it was like, "Well, I think you get a double contract if you do go." So I was like, "Oh, okay." So I went and tried. I figured, what the heck? And I got the job.
Wow.
So that was my first professional commercial, and I say professional meaning SAG, Screen Actors Guild, and my first stunt job.
Wow.
And the stunt coordinator for that commercial saw me, and he looked at me and treated me like I was a fish out of water. He was excited. Where'd you come from? Who are you? Who do you train with? And they invited me to start working out with him, and that's how I got into stunts.
Wow. That must be kind of scary because you don't know what kind of stunts they're going to do, no?
It is scary. So I immediately started training. My first training was a stunt fighting for film training here with a guy named Phi Long. He's still here in Florida, in Central Florida.
Okay.
And then eventually I took a stunt driving course, and then a high fall
driving
course.
Oh my gosh. Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, so it's so many different things that you can do. as an athlete, my agent thought, okay, you can go and audition for this role.
Yeah.
And so when I was doing the training, it's a little bit scary, but if you have agility and coordination and a lack of fear.
That's true. I was going to say, you're going to be willing to throw yourself off of things.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
You can pretty much catch on to the skills that they're teaching you.
Oh, wow.
And I know my limits. There's some things that I will not do. Like martial arts, I can do cardio kickboxing. And I can do a little bit of karate. I took trainings and things. But when it comes to professional fighting that involves martial arts, I leave that to
people who've been training.
People that've been training since they were 2.
And those people that are crazy.
Really good at it, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, but...
Oh my God, I would be terrified.
Yeah, but I love stuff like ratchet pulls and, repelling and things like that.
Oh, that must be exciting. I like that a lot. What was the most challenging one that you think that you'd have to face, that you were kind of like, I don't know about this?
Okay, so in this TV show called Claws, my character was kidnapped, and I was stunt doubling for her.
Okay.
And she had to open the door and roll out of the car while it's moving.
Oh my God.
So
how fast was the car moving?
It wasn't the hardest job, but it was mentally the most difficult.
Because you're throwing yourself out of car. That's terrifying.
Yeah, and the car is rolling and you're going to jump out and keep rolling. So you just kind of got to go for it.
Oh my gosh.
Right. So, and the car was going about 35 miles per hour. Not really fast, but fast enough
That's fast enough to be like, oh my goodness gracious.
Right. Okay. So I rolled out, my shoe came off, everything, and they let it go, and it's like, cut. Okay, going again. The director was like, nope, that's perfect. Don't worry about it. They were like, your shoe came off. He was like, perfect.
Yeah, because it looks natural. Yeah.
Natural. So that was the most mentally challenging. I think the most physically challenging was a TV show called Lovecraft Country. And it was a ratchet pull where they pulled me up to the ceiling and then dropped me back down to the floor.
Ugh.
So it looks really good though.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Oh my gosh, I gotta look at some of these and see you being thrown around. Oh my goodness. Okay, out of all of the jobs you've done, which one was your favorite booking? Favorite crew? Favorite everything from top to bottom?
David Makes Man.
David Makes Man.
David Makes Man is a show that's on OWN, produced by Oprah.
Ooh, okay.
And I played a doctor.
Ooh, I like doctor roles.
I was a principal character. Very great scene. I was with all 5 of the leads. Ooh. And I couldn't have asked for a better job. Of course, I thought I'd still be on that show, but, it's like, don't let this character die. I want to stay on the show. Obviously, no one else went to the hospital because I'm not on the show.
Oh, no.
That's okay. It's okay.
Oh, that sounds fun, though. Doctor roles are definitely interesting. There's a lot of terminology.
Yes.
You gotta, figure out for that.
Yep.
Oh, boy. Okay, so... tell us some of the biggest names or famous people you've worked with. Do you remember any off the top of your head?
Yeah, there's a lot. Viola Davis was one of them who I love. You may know her from How to Get Away with Murder.
Yes.
So she's really great. Who else? Let me see. Worked with Captain America. Also known as Chris Evans.
What?
LeVar Burton. I first met LeVar Burton. Well, not met, but I saw him on a show called Roots, a movie called Roots.
Okay.
And then he started the Reading Rainbow. And because of him, I started volunteering as a SAG actor to read to children in schools. So I'd go volunteer and read through the SAG Foundation.
Oh, I love that.
To elementary school kids. And I walk stilts as well. So sometimes I'd put on my stilt costume.
What?
And then I'd bring the books and I'd read. And yeah, it was really rewarding.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And that's super cool.
I met him on NCIS New Orleans.
Okay.
He was a director and an actor in the same episode. And I had to we had to fall to the ground together.
Yeah.
So I think that was the only time that I really met an actor and was how do you say that? Starstruck?
Dumbfounded, like, wow.
Right. So I looked at him. He was like, hi.
Yeah.
Ignored him because I was like, I'm not going to be that person. I'm not going to be that person.
Yeah.
And he kept passing and saying little things to me, you know,
Yeah.
you doing okay? And I was like, okay, look, I just have to say that it is such an honor to meet you because I grew up watching you. I knew that I wanted to be an actor. And I was like, this man is doing this. I said, and then you started doing the Reading Rainbow. I volunteered. So he giggled and he laughed. He's like, you know, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah.
And he said, let's do this. And there we go, falling on the floor together.
Oh,
Avoiding
my
gunshots.
gosh. Avoiding gunshots. I would pass out if
Yeah.
I met some
Yeah.
of my top favorite people. That's crazy. And you get to work with them side by side, girl.
Side by side. And Chris Evans almost kicked me in the face on Captain America. So that's my moment of pride right there.
I love it. I love you. I love the whole thing. One thing I did want to mention to the podcast before we hop off here is that Miss Shellita is a professional zombie.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that before we log off.
Okay, so I was working on a movie and I met the stunt coordinator. He was an actor. He was a stunt actor on that film. And he said, hey, I'm getting a project really soon in Georgia.
Yeah.
It's called, he was like, I don't know, The Walking Dead. And it's a really big thing. It was his first really big thing. And he said, there's this lady I want you to double. I was like, okay, all right. So he calls me. He sends me Michonne's picture with the character. And so I was like, all right, awesome. So I go. It's, you know, get katana training because I'm working with the sword and all that stuff. And so I get there, and, you know, in the industry, there's a thing whereas they want to make sure they're casting black people to double black people. Spanish is, you know.
Right.
And so I got there, and she's a tad bit, her tone is a little bit warmer than mine.
Okay.
So I did 2 episodes as her double. Makeup was like putting makeup on. I was like, oh, man, we got to use lighting. Anyway, she did a lot of her own stuff because she's badass. I'm sorry. Yeah, she did.
It's okay.
She's really bad. So she did a lot of her sword work. But they brought me back to play a zombie.
Ooh, okay.
And so I played myself on camera as a stunt zombie in 3 different episodes.
Oh my gosh.
So season 3, 4, and 5. And then I hadn't worked on it in a long time. But fate had it where I came in for the last season, 11. Was it 11? Well, anyway, the last season before they canceled the show, which was last year, and I worked on that. So it was like, oh, great. I was on the first couple seasons, and then now
brought back
the last
in.
one. Yeah.
Ooh, that's so fun.
Yeah, so I was a sexy stunt zombie.
Rawr.
Yes, it's sexy.
I love it. Thank you so much for being on our podcast.
Thank you, ma'am.
Guys, that was Miss Shellita Boxie. You can find her socials linked on this page. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time on the Maile School Behind the Scenes podcast. Bye, guys.